Do not use Chat GPT to recognize employees. So I saw an advertisement the other day of kind of like a system for managers, and I won't tell you who it was, but I'm always curious about looking at that stuff, so I went into it, and they had a thing where how you could recognize employees and give them kudos. And you could just click on what it was that you wanted to recognize, what were the different things like their creativity or their resourcefulness, and then you just hit a button, and then AI would write the recognition for you, which then you could email them or you could say it to them. And that might sound really cool, but don't do that. Let me tell you why. A couple of reasons. Number one, Chat GPT and some of this AI stuff, at least at this point, still, it's a little soulless, right? So for example, I had a question I wanted to ask a good friend of mine who's a high-level coach, and I asked him this question, and then I got this response back fairly quickly. And as I read it, I'm like, that's not him. And I typed in, I said, this sounds like Chat GPT. And he said, well, yeah, it is, but I just found it easier. And so it completely changes how I feel about that interaction. So in the same way, if you're using AI to create a recognition for you, I mean, where does that stop? Should I use AI to, you want to apologize to your partner, or you want to tell somebody how much you love them? You're going to get AI to write it? It just doesn't feel right. It's the same way with your employees. Don't do that. Because the other reason is AI, it's not you. It's not your authentic voice. One of the best things you can learn when you're leading is to get to a place where you're comfortable being you. So often we come to leadership, we all come to leadership kind of in the same path, right? We worked hard, we had a good attitude, we were reliable, and at some point somebody said, hey, you're going to lead others, right? And forever life was changed. And but at that point, often for people, there's an insecurity about, well, I don't want to fail being a leader. I don't want to mess up all these people's lives. And so we imitate, as we should. We're grabbing different things from mentors, people who lead us. We start to think, oh, that's how to lead. But it's not until you get older in your career you realize, wait a minute, that's how they led, but that's not necessarily me. I just need to be me, the best version of me. That's the best leader you can be. Anyway, so how does this relate to recognition? In the same way, your authentic voice is what lands with the greatest weight with recognition. Now, when it comes to recognition, in our program 9 Minutes on Monday, we teach managers, look, here's 3 things you can recognize people for at any given time, right? An achievement or progress that they're making on something. Secondly, a behavior that they've just exhibited that you want to see more of. Or thirdly, just a quality that they have, right? That you admire, that benefits the office, the team, the surroundings, whatever it might be. And of course, frameworks are a good thing. We teach frameworks, right? Like, let's say it's a behavior. We teach people like identify the behavior and then link that behavior to something bigger, the impact it has on the company, on the client or the customer, on the team, or on you, the boss, right? So let's say Sarah threw out some really creative brainstorming ideas at our last meeting, and maybe she usually doesn't speak up. Well, I want to reinforce that behavior, so I'm going to recognize it. I'm going to say something like this: hey, Sarah, when you threw out all those crazy ideas, like really creative ideas at the team meeting, did you notice what happened to the rest of the team? Everyone else began to think more flexibly, to think outside of the box. I mean, you were the catalyst to get us all thinking on a different level, right? So thank you for doing that. That would be an example of recognition in real time, where I'm identifying a behavior and then I'm linking it to something bigger. That's all you have to do in recognition. You don't need AI. You don't need Chat GPT to write something up for you. You don't need to even sound all professional and in great grammar. You don't even need any of that. You just need to identify what it is and the link to the impact that had and why that's important. If you do those things, then you don't need any of this other stuff. All right? Hope that helps. Just don't use Chat GPT to recognize your staff.